Hello, and welcome to Draw Ears with me. I'm Danny Gregory, owner of 2 Ears. I'm here with my better half.
Well, hello.
Nice to have you here in the room.
Those ears.
I know you were kind of afraid that they would be repulsive, I seem to remember.
I don't know if repulsive is exactly the word.
Eerie.
I just hope maybe you don't repeat that exercise for a little while.
Okay, I probably won't. Next week we will be drawing
Nostrils?
more intimate parts of the body. Yes, we'll see. Well, thanks all for joining me. And JJ here today on Draw With Me. Today we are going to be celebrating Earth Day. It always sort of seems like a kind of a 70s kind of thing to me.
I don't know. I think we need Earth Day more than ever.
It's true. We do. We
And
continue.
in a strange twist of irony, there are no leaf blowers here today.
It's true.
Our yard is getting respite.
The earth is calm. We're not being reminded of the incessant messiness of nature.
Well, we do have a mulberry tree that has decided it's time to fruit.
It's true. So we have this mulberry tree, and every spring it creates huge amounts of these completely worthless berries. Mulberry sounds
Not worthless to the birds.
I know, but it sounds like
Not worthless to Twiglet.
But mulberry sound is like a nice sounding thing, right? Mulberry. You would go around the mulberry tree. Isn't that a song? Yeah.
My mulberries bring all the birds to the yard, and they're like,
Yeah, I know. Mulberries.
it's
mulberries.
a mess.
Yeah,
It's a mess.
Birds like mulberries.
And the birds fly into our windows
Yeah,
because they get all hopped up on mulberry mead.
it's true. So yes, so then they leave deposits. All
Anyway,
over.
so this is like as of I think I noticed them on Easter Sunday. They've risen from the depths of winter, and they will go until about the middle of June.
That's true. Yes. So anyway, so we
Trees are magical.
Yes, it is Earth Day, and we're going to acknowledge Earth Day in a number of ways. First of all, I wanted to tell you. Well, yes, this is one way we're going to be acknowledging it. We are going to be using some sustainable paper, bamboo mixed media paper from Hahnemühle. And Hahnemühle has made this line of paper that's
Naturals.
nice. Yeah, naturals. It's nice on the earth. They have a bamboo one, and they have an agave one, and they have a hemp one. And I think they're really nice paper. But I have to say, last week I was in Florida at this giant arts and crafts and art supplies trade show. There was a lot of talk about sustainability. There's a lot of ways in which making paper could be smarter. There are ways in which we can remove animals from the process. And also, I think packaging is another thing that they've been looking at and saying, how can we reduce the amount of packaging that tubes of paint come in and all those kinds of things.
Oh, did you see this comment from Joey Sarna? This is awesome. In honor of Earth Day.
Yes.
Drawing on junk mail.
Interesting idea. Yeah.
Love that.
Drawing on junk mail. Junk mail, which some of us considered at various points in our lives to be our job, making, designing, writing so-called junk mail.
Oh, please don't accredit that to us.
Direct mail. We have friends who are in that business who work
barely
long
friends
and
with
hard.
them. Barely.
Excuse
barely.
me. They work long and hard on making these beautiful pieces of design. But yeah, go ahead and draw on them. Ruin them. That's it. So yes, bamboo paper. Lanny seems to be interested in it. We'll see.
Okay, so do we want to reveal? We have
several.
Two packs, 2 blocks.
Yeah, this mixed media paper is nice, and it's a large. It's piece.
Substantial.
It's 9.5 by 12.5, and we have a couple of.
We have 2.
We have
Hahnemühle is giving away 2.
Yes, a couple.
2 blocks.
A couple. We have a couple of blocks that we are going to be giving away from Hahnemühle USA. Therefore, we can only send it to people in America. And if you'd like one, write to us at info@sketchbookskool.com and say, why on earth would you want a bamboo mixed media pen?
Write to us at info@.
Isn't that what I just said?
Yeah, you just said sketchbookskool.com. Anyway.
Is this going to be one of those
Yeah,
days?
it's going to be one of those days. Isn't that
play the tape
why
back.
you have me on here? To give you a hard time?
No, actually I don't. It's info@sketchbookschool.com.
Yeah, and please, I'm trying to spread the love around. So if you've won already this year, don't bother.
Yes,
Just don't
exactly.
bother.
So this is just for people who haven't won, for losers, in effect. Yes. So Brand Art Yoga, who we will refer to as Bay. Anyway, Brand Art Yoga was apparently a winner of bamboo paper in the past, so that's great.
Yeah, so don't enter again.
Sorry.
Just don't enter.
Sorry, namaste. We're done. Okay, so here we go. Did Lanny just show a hook? I think he did.
I don't even know what that means.
No, it wasn't. It was just somebody writing.
I
thought it was like a hook, like.
Okay, well, let's move on. I think everybody knows how to enter the contest.
So yes, so that is one thing that we will be doing. And another thing that we will be doing, and let me just get rid of this, is we'll be drawing a tree. Now, you may have a tree in your vicinity and you want to draw that tree. Kudos, that would be awesome. Failing that, if you're treeless or you're shut in and you don't have access to trees, I have uploaded a photograph of a tree, just in case that's something you can't come by. And as I've explained to you in the past, but I'll explain again, if you go to the community tab of our YouTube page, community tab is actually like a kind of a weird little blog that we keep on our YouTube channel. And if you go there, I have posted a picture of a tree, which you can download. How do you download it? You go to it and you pull it off. So there's not a picture of a tree, but a picture of me, showing how you just click on it and drag it off onto your desktop. And there you'll have it. Your very own tree. So that's what we're going to be drawing today, a tree. In whatever form, any tree you want. And if you say, you know what, I don't want to draw a tree, I would rather draw something else to do with the earth, something on earth. Don't draw other planets. Draw this planet.
Don't draw ears.
It's not Earth Day.
I don't want people getting addicted to that exercise.
That was a really good joke that you just blundered over.
I saw somebody posted a quote and they said, "Earth without art is just eh."
My joke was better. It's not Earth Day. It's Earth Day. All right. So I have been practicing. That's something I do a lot. I've drawn a lot of trees, but I thought, how do I explain how to draw trees? So I have been practicing some trees, and here.
Test manual.
This is some trees that I've drawn. So this is the kind of tree that you can expect to see me draw today. These are all trees in our backyard. Do you recognize these trees?
Ugh, the mulberry.
No, that's not a mulberry. This is that little guy in the corner, and this is a little tiny tree that has grown up against the wall.
Red leaves.
No.
Oh my goodness.
This is our neighbor's palm tree. This is the mulberry tree, the offender, and you can see the edge. It's peering over the edge of our house. So as you can see, this is the edge of our house, and you can see that mulberry tree is right looming over us and cascading down mulberries.
I should mention we have multiple mulberry trees.
Do we do?
Only one of them fruits.
Where are the other ones?
The other one is on the side yard.
Oh, really?
That big tree there.
That's a mulberry tree? Okay,
That's a mulberry.
there you go.
And that thing in the front is a mulberry. But only one of them.
All right, so here we have it. While I was at it, I drew a frog. These I did not draw.
Frog?
Yes, I drew this. I was
Sure, it's
looking.
not Twiggy?
I was looking at Jack Law's book, and I was wondering how to draw a frog and a bird.
Oh, those are cute.
That's how I do this. All right, but we're not using that book. We're using this, the bamboo mixed media from Hahnemühle. A lot of people are saying they like mulberries, and Barbara's pointing out that maybe the trees are male and female.
Yeah, clearly.
So females are making a mess. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's get that tree up here. Where are you, tree? So this is a stock tree. It's not a.
I remember one time we went to
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, we sat in that Vondel Park,
Yeah,
and I think you drew a tree for like 2 hours.
I drew a tree on my iPad.
And that was when I discovered that public parks in Amsterdam, very popular places to go, don't have public restrooms.
Yes, it was a
And
tragic
it was an emergency. So you
the
sat
joys
and
of
drew that tree for
the
so
joys of
long.
travel.
It was a strike against Amsterdam, I'll tell you that.
All right, so I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start by doing. So here's the thing I want to say about trees. Let me just go back and talk about trees a minute. So when you think about a tree, it can be overwhelming because there are hundreds and thousands of leaves on it and branches, and it's like, how do you approach it? That's really the thing I struggled with for a long time. Like, how do you actually draw a tree? Do you draw it leaf by leaf? In which case, as JJ said, you can spend the entire vacation sitting in a park drawing a tree.
Giving
leaf by
your
leaf.
spouse a UTI.
Yes. Don't do that. So, so if we look at this, Gertrude is pointing out that the negative space between the leaves are so hard to draw. Yes, it's true. They're somewhat hard to draw. I think they're hard to draw in part because they're interspersed. So if you look at this tree, you can see that there are patches of sky through the branches, through the leaves. Those are negative spaces. You can see, of course, the negative space above and below the tree. But let's not focus on that today. Let's think about a couple of other things. So let's think about the fact that a tree is three-dimensional and it is lit primarily from above. So it's a three-dimensional thing, and that's something we want to consider. Is there are leaves that are in the front, and there are leaves that are in the back. There are leaves that are illuminated from above and are light, and there's shadows that are cast down below. And then, of course, there are the branches, so, and the trunk. Now, for me, I would like to start not by drawing it from the ground up, but from the top down.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, so I want to consider the overall shape of the tree. So it's pretty quick to do it with just some watercolor. So let me just try and do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix some kind of basic greens here. And I think I'm going to start with something lighter. So we can start with just sort of the general kind of shape of this tree, right? Don't worry too much at this point about like whether we're getting all the bits and pieces in. Just like look at this sort of overall, what is the overall kind of shape of it? And
Kind of looks like the frog.
And if your drawing's not going well, turn it into a frog. Who cares? Frogs are part of Earth too. All right, so let's just say that that's the shape. It's not entirely the shape, but let's just say it is. And
Strangely, kind of looks like a hippopotamus's face.
everything that looks
No,
like
no, look at it. Look at it.
Yes, it's true. It's the profile of a hippo. Again, if it doesn't look like a tree, you can turn it into something else. And then let's just take some like Payne's Gray.
All right, somebody's asking about your sketchbook in watercolor in the sketchbook. How do you get it to take the paint without waving?
Sorry.
What kind of sketchbook are you using?
Well, I'm using the bamboo by
No,
Hahnemühle.
in the practice sketchbook.
Oh, I'm using a different Hahnemühle thing. There, I can't quite remember the name of it, but
People are validating the hippo. I'm just wanting
right.
to point that out.
You're distracting me. All right, so that's kind of roughly. So you see, sort of pulled it down, and then you can go in, of course, and you can just sort of, if you wanted to add some other stuff, you could do a bit of it. But what I'm trying to do is, and then I'm going to put in a bit more of a kind of a darker color to just sort of give some weight to the bottom of it. But that's a reasonable facsimile of that tree. And then if I wanted to, I could go in and sort of do some of the bits that are sticking up. But what I find, it's pretty easy with watercolor because you can just focus on that shape of, God, I feel like I'm being like Bob Ross today. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, is that the Mondle Park tree on your wall?
Where?
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's hanging on the wall.
It's actually on the wall.
Yeah. So that's kind of fair enough. You see, you've totally distracted. Everybody's talking about boars and hippos. And I hope you people are drawing trees. People, this planet is in peril.
You said you could draw anything on the earth. Hippos are clearly of the earth.
This planet is in peril. And we as artists need to do what we can to save it. Today, I'm trying in my meager way to help by drawing some trees, by drawing our attention to trees. I have an idea. Why don't you talk about one of our favorite books?
Possibly one of the best books I've ever read. And we have recommended it to how many billions of people are on the planet now? I feel like we're always telling people to read it. It's called Lab Girl, and it's a memoir written by Hope Jaron. I'll put it in the.
She's a biologist. So I don't want to interrupt you, but I hope you don't mind if I draw while you blather. So here's another thing. So that's one way of doing it. Here's another way that I've been trying to do it, which is, and I'm going to come back to this because I might want to bring a pencil into the story.
A pencil?
So here's another way of looking at this is to sort of find shapes within the leaves, to find kind of chunks of shape. Or is that, yeah, chunks of shape. So, and come up with some kind of way of making a mark that sort of feels kind of like what you're looking at, you know? So you're not drawing each individual leaf, but you are sort of trying to get the basics in. So you can just sort of do this kind of squiggledy thing if you want. Don't worry yet now about light and shade. Just sort of make stuff that fills in, that feels kind of leaf-like, right? It feels like chunks of leaves. Because that's really what we want, is we want to have these kind of groupings. Because that's the tree is made up of branches that have different sort of chunks, right? Let's get this mouse out of here. So yeah. So where's that big chunk? There's it is. And you know, so then you can create sort of an overall shape out of it. You can have the little squiggly bits that stick up.
They kind of look like heart shapes. It's a tree of love.
It's true. And then I like to go over some of the sections and just, I'm not really doing hatching. I'm just adding in more layers of kind of leaf stuff in order to create more of a sense of shadow and darkening it in there. And then now I'm going to put in those the branches. There's the trunk, and again, I'm not getting super fussy about it because while it's possible to stare at this tree and break it down into its pieces and really try and get each piece, and you can do that. It could be a way of drawing it and spending hours drawing this, but if you want to just capture it kind of generally, then don't obsess too much with that, with whether or not you've gotten the exact right angles to it. You know, then you can even make a different kind of mark on. Boy, I'm running out of paper. This pad is not big enough. If we should contact Joe Domeyer and say, this is a ridiculously small pad.
I mean,
you can't really. How am I supposed to? This Earth is huge, and how am I going to celebrate it? So
it's 9.5 by 11.
I know.
It's pretty big, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's sort of kind of has the feeling of that tree, you know. Could spend more time kind of thinking thinking about every bit of it, but I think that's a legitimate representation of that tree. What do you think?
Yeah, people are giving it shades of broccoli.
Shades of broccoli. You people.
Danny.
No, now they have sunk to that level.
There's another good book that I just started reading, actually recommended by our dear friend Carrie Palmer, called Braiding Sweetgrass. Anyone heard of this book? Braiding Sweetgrass? Absolutely gorgeous.
What's it about?
It's about how we might have lost touch with the wisdom of indigenous people who treated the environment in a way that was much kinder, with great respect, and also the fact that we have to coexist with it, not dominate it.
We didn't treat our indigenous people with a lot of respect either.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't it?
Another book that I think was quite good, I think you read it too, was Wilding. Is it called Wilding? Or,
I think I tried to read it. I think you got into it more than I did. I fell off of that book.
So it's about this couple in England who, he was like the lord of a manor, which sounds kind of ridiculous in this day and age, but he was, he had inherited this huge chunk of land, which had a lot of farmers on it and stuff like that. And he decided to allow part of it, at least, to go back to its natural state, to not be cultivated at all. And
that's like Biggest Little Farm.
Yeah. But it was really interesting how all these animals started to come back, and all these plants that had never been known in the area or hadn't been seen for so long, just within a matter of a couple of years, started all to reappear.
Danny, is that pencil a zebra?
It is. So this is a thing called Sensations by Zebra. This is a thing I picked up at that trade show, and it is a pencil. It's nice and thick, and it is a mechanical pencil. They had a whole bunch of them. They come in all these different colors. I like it. It doesn't erase really well. You can't really erase it, which is fine because I don't erase. So anyway, so now what I'm getting into these days is combining watercolor works really well, I find, with pencil. I just like the look of it. And
I don't think I've ever heard you say such a thing before.
I know.
This is kind of shocking.
It's the new me.
Wow.
It's the new me. I mean, I realize that there's a lot of artists who work in this way, whose work I really like. And I mean, Felix Scheinberger is always doing it this way.
Really? With pencil?
Yes. So I thought, well, the reason I rail against pencils is, and again, I like colored pencils too, is I just think that when you're starting out drawing with a pencil is an invitation to draw with an eraser. And I think that that's not a great way to learn. I think you got to commit. But when you've been drawing for as many hundreds of years as I have, what? Anyway, the trade show in Florida, Linda's asking. Linda, who's clearly an infrequent attendee of this show.
Yeah. It's called NAMTA. And it's not open to the public. It's
in Orlando. And
manufacturers go to get the
if you go to our YouTube
retailers
channel,
to buy their stuff. Yeah.
If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see a video of me walking the way through it.
Take Dramamine, perhaps, before you watch this
Easy
video.
now. Easy. It is handheld in the style of early Martin Scorsese. It is, I think, a dramatic and powerful piece of filmmaking. Mm. Not for everybody.
No.
I mean,
not for me.
If you are not a sophisticated cinema goer, there's you can always watch the Marvel channel. Now I'm going to get some haters who love Marvel. I love Marvel too, so I'm not even sure what I'm talking about.
There's room for everything.
Is there? Is there really?
Oh, yeah, Cromer got a headache. There were moments. It was like being at Disney World on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Well, we were in Orlando.
Exactly.
So anyway, I've run out of paper. But regular viewers of this program are used to me making not very good drawings, but I have to say I quite like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. I think it's pretty.
I think I need to draw. I think
it's very. It looks a lot like the tree in the reference, which when you were scribbling, I kind of doubted, but you pulled it off, brought it around in the end.
So now we could go back to this one if we wanted, and we could ruin it by drawing on top of it.
Are you gonna? You're not gonna draw on top of it with a pencil, are you?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This is to show.
Who are you?
This is to show that, change is good.
I mean.
But unfortunately, you see this pencil does not really write well on semi-moist watercolor. So no, that's kind of it.
Maybe you need a fine liner.
I could always pull out a colored pencil.
What about a watercolor pencil?
That's what this is, but it's still kind of damp. So it's not great.
You want me to get you a paper towel?
No, thanks. It's starting to dry. So this is another way of doing it. Is this better than it was when it just had watercolor on? Probably not. But that's one of the lessons that we learn by failing dramatically in public while many people watch.
They're used to it.
Have you ever seen a grown man beat his wife with a broken pencil? Here we go. Okay, I think that. What do you think? Which is better? This one, right? The bottom one?
I can't pick a winner. They're different. It's two different things.
Yeah, different.
I think you should pick that tree off the wall and show them that one you did on the because you did that on your iPad. I think it was literally 2 hours, but it is very good.
There you go. That's the iPad version of it. The reason it took so long, it's a pretty simple tree. The reason it took so long is because I did all these layers. You can see there's like layers and layers of green.
I mean, isn't that gorgeous?
And then I did all the background trees back there. So yeah, I think that came out nicely.
Yeah, I do too.
So
there's Fran Cooper. All three are winners. That's a career politician right there.
Why, thank you. All right. I'm pretty happy with that.
What are we going to do now?
I don't know. Have we saved the Earth yet?
Not a chance.
Yeah. So, has anybody had? So, what do you think about trees? Drawing trees? Is it demystified? Have I demystified it?
Should we talk about Hockney and his trees that he does in the various seasons?
Yeah, that is nice.
Does everyone know about that?
I could go grab that sketch. Oh, I have a really good sketchbook. Can you just hold down the fort for a minute?
Da 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 da.
All right.
And he's back.
And I'm back. This is. Do you mind if I take this tree away? If you still want this reference, feel free to go download it as I've explained. But let's talk about the master for a second. So this is Hockney's sketchbook. Hockney is originally from Yorkshire, and he lived in Los Angeles for a long time, but now he's in France. You know why he's in France? Because you can smoke there.
I think there's something about that is heroic.
Yeah, that's
it's committed. It's commitment. It's commitment.
But look at the different ways that he does this, right? So
it's already gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, stop it.
See this? This is like really fast. This is watercolor.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I like this too. This whole business of doing like probably the giant shape and then going in and adding the texture of the leaves. Nice way of handling it. But he's done a lot of. He did this series of paintings of this this kind of a crossroads might have even been something like this. Crossroads in different seasons. So the same exact location painted 4 different times of the year.
Well, didn't he kind of go down the road in a vehicle with a slow-moving camera?
No, he drove down the road with a vehicle with 20 high-definition cameras attached to it and filmed it from different angles, and then they all overlapped. Yeah. But I love these landscapes and the complexity of the shapes.
They're just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I have to say, Danny,
What?
his are better than yours.
He's older. I can do work that's this good, but it would be too intimidating to these people. I'm dumbing it down, because I don't want everybody to say like, oh, well, of course. I mean, if I was David Hockney right now, you guys would just be sitting on your hands. I want you to draw with me. So I'm trying to make it not so good.
Oh my God, it's so gorgeous.
Look at how these shapes of these are just kind of like groves of trees. But yeah. So anyway, so that's David Hockney. If you don't know David Hockney, he is the greatest living painter of our time. I think. I don't think there's much question about that. I hope he continues living. He's really old. He smokes all the time.
His dachshunds, his love for his dachshunds will keep him alive.
Yeah, that's true. He has a lot of dachshunds. So.
No, he's just about the coolest. He really is just about the coolest.
Yeah. See, this is inspired Abel to want to... No, not Abel. Who was it who said that? Yes, Gertrude wants to go out and draw hills. I think these landscapes, the big open landscapes, comparatively flat, it looks like Van Gogh, right? I mean, Van Gogh did this kind of, in south of France, I think there were a lot of this sort of landscape too. Not in Arizona.
Cacti.
No, you couldn't do this kind of stuff in Arizona. See, here's a tree. Here's a good example, right? So he's drawn the general shape, then went in and added some tone, darkened the trunk, boom. 3-dimensional feeling tree. So that's it. Periwinkle wants to know the title. There it is. David Hockney, a Yorkshire sketchbook.
It's incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. If you have a chance, always look at what David Hockney does, because
he's like ahead of the curve consistently through his entire
he's also always
life.
Does interesting stuff with technology. So this is, as I said, this is all watercolor. But again, you see how big shapes, but then these textural things and kind of random. He's not obsessing over every leaf and did he get it right. This is obviously the view from like sitting inside somewhere, right? This might be...
What's the blue on the left?
It might be sitting inside of a car. Like this is part of the window of the car.
Oh, I see, yep.
He's sitting in a parking lot. So certainly you've seen me do those kind of drawings before. That's a really beautiful one. So, but David Hockney, in the late 70s, he was doing drawings on fax machines. He was doing drawings on Xerox machines. So he would do a drawing, Xerox it, and keep breaking it down with the Xerox machine. He did these incredible collages using Polaroids that became kind of a generic thing, like you saw it in advertising all over the place. But he invented that. We would go out and he would slightly turn the camera and just take hundreds and hundreds of Polaroids and assemble a big scene. He was I think he was the first sort of fine artist to draw on the iPhone and then on the iPad. And a lot of his shows now are drawn on the iPad. And he draws, you go to these shows and they're an iPad drawing that may be blown up to be 15 feet high. And he's really showing how, this digital art can be completely a fine art tool. And, he's always ahead of the curve. He's designed sets for operas, for ballet. I can go on and on about him. So yeah, he is, D. Pashan is saying he doesn't overthink. It's true. He's responding to what he's seeing. Boom. He's just knocking it out, the whole thing. And I've seen videos of him, and you can see these on YouTube, of him painting set up with like 2 giant canvases by the side of the road, each on its own easel, as he's painting a huge landscape really, really quickly. You can see him doing it. These giant canvases that seem like they can get blown away by the wind at any moment. And he's just responding really quickly to what he's seeing and to nature and everything around him. He's also, of course, an incredible portraitist. He paints beautiful pictures of dachshunds. So there's a huge amount to learn from him, and he's still around. So if you can get to see one of his shows, if it comes to your town, absolutely do whatever you can to see it. Remember, I flew to San Francisco to see his show, The Bigger Picture. It was really worth it.
What are we going to do now?
A lot of people talking about Ian Sidaway, people talking about David Gentleman. Yes, those are also big favorites of ours here at Sketchbook School. Ian Sidaway, of course, taught for us. David Gentleman didn't because he's dead. But there you have it.
Danny.
You think we should have invited him? I have to draw the line somewhere. We can only have the living as our instructors. All right. Okay, so that was fun. Fairly quick.
Are we done?
I think so. I enjoyed making these trees. I look forward to seeing yours. It was fairly quick.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. I think you're.
So all right. So
you're trying
Linda's
to minimize me.
feeling pressured to create digital art. By whom?
Is she feeling pressured by you?
I hope not, Linda, because honestly, I have no interest in pressuring you to make digital art. Digital art is just another tool. All this stuff, don't put it into categories. That's artists use tools. Artists have been at the forefront of technological development. The first use of films and cameras. As soon as a new technology comes out, artists jump on it. You play with it, you try it out. And if you spend enough time, I spent a lot of time just walking around with an iPad until I could draw that tree or whatever. Martina is nervous to buy I wouldn't buy a Wacom tablet. There's no reason to buy. I don't know.
Is she gonna get some SideQuest discs to go with that?
Yeah. That just feels like that's 20th century technology. Get an iPad, get Procreate, and work with that. There's no reason to get a Wacom. I don't know, unless you have some intense digital requirement for it. I don't know. We'll see. Gertrude is overwhelmed by the possibilities.
No, but she got an iPad and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess you could say I'm overwhelmed when I go into the art supply store and there's a gazillion brushes. Yeah, but just pick one and start using it. That's the whole point of all this stuff, is it's fun. We're here to play, to try stuff out. You can get 64 crayons in your box. You don't have to use all of them. Start with a couple, start layering them on. Eventually, it's not about being intimidating. It's not about doing it perfectly. Perfection is our enemy. It stops us, it stalls us, it stops us from beginning. It takes all the fun out of stuff. So don't try and do it perfectly. I sure don't. Just start making stuff. And there's, you can do it at any age. Like even Lisa Stewart's aged mother. I assume she's aged.
Well, no, she's not. Is she? She's here. Isn't she here? Let's ask her.
I was assuming that Lisa Stewart was aged too.
Lisa Stewart is not aged.
Okay. Speaking as a person who is aged, you can start doing it at any point. Look at me. I just started using a pencil. And I'm almost 90 years old. But I look good. That's the main thing. Think about how old the Earth is.
Hey,
this is my age now.
So next week,
yes,
we're gonna have Cinco de Mayo.
No, next week I have a plan.
Oh, next week is Cinco de Mayo.
Next week is Cinco de Mayo. So if you'd like to bring tequila, last year we drew tequila.
Maybe
we drew tequila on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, no, next week is not. Dang.
All right, so we've been having fun. We will continue having fun. I'm looking forward to your trees. And again, if you'd like that really nice sketchbook or pad,
It's a block.
If you would like that block, let us know why. And we will more or less randomly pick a couple of people to get it.
Not if you've won recently. Don't bother.
Only losers need apply. And also, what else? My essays. Yeah, I wrote an essay about being old recently. It was something new. So yes, so feel free to get my essays, get my book. It's free. They're free. I work for free constantly for you. So yes, so go to dannysessays.com, sign up for it. I know you will. Art for All podcast is me and John Muirlaws sitting around talking about art and science and nature and our brains and all that kind of stuff. And I have fun. I've been listening to it recently. You've occasionally, I made you listen to it in the car the other day. Yeah, so even JJ listened to it, so why shouldn't you?
Well,
Art for All podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts, also available here on YouTube. We record the video of us recording the podcast. Finally, hashtag SBS Draw with me. Please share your tree, and then we can share it at the beginning of next week's episode. You just need to put it on social media, on Instagram.
I mean, you can email it to info@ if you really don't do social.
What?
You can.
Okay, I didn't know that. I've been actively discouraging people from doing that. But yeah, email it to JJ and she'll figure it out. You can email it to info@sketchbooksoul.com. You can post it. Or you can put it on the schoolyard. Optimal. Why is that the best? Why is putting it in the schoolyard the best choice? I'll tell you why. Because the schoolyard is our online community of artists. Facebook, it's filled with ne'er-do-wells, miscreants.
Oh my goodness. You know you're
troublemakers.
You're broadcasting this on Facebook, right?
Sorry. If
let's have a positive spin on all of this stuff.
Facebook is awesome. Schoolyard is even better. Imagine the schoolyard, but without the less awesome aspects of it. That's the schoolyard, full of artists all sharing stuff. And
all right, let's wrap
you can
this
be a
up
member
before
of this.
you say anything incendiary.
Well, I've been doing it for 44 minutes and 47 seconds. But yes, if you'd like to join the schoolyard, just be a Sketchbook School student. Pretty easy. And if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, just click right underneath where it says subscribe. You'll see a button. You'll see a little logo there. Just click on that and you'll be subscribed to it. What happens is if you're subscribed to it, you'll be notified of when we do another draw with me. You'll be notified of when I share the reference photo. You'll be notified when the new podcast comes out. You'll be notified that I care deeply about you on a regular basis. So it's really not much trouble. It's not too much to ask for. So just do that. Where is the schoolyard? The schoolyard is on the World Wide Web.
Any person who's ever made a purchase from Sketchbook School,
any
single purchase gets an invitation to the schoolyard.
Yeah, so you've been invited. If Betsy and Lisa, if you've never taken a class at Sketchbook School, then maybe that's not an option for you because it's really only for
Oh my gosh. Wrap it up, please. You're just digging yourself in over it. Don't say you people. Don't say it.
I love you people, and especially those of you who are in the schoolyard. Look, if you're not in the schoolyard, don't worry about it. Just put it on Facebook, put it on Draw with me, email it to us.
Please, just wrap it up.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Rosalie, Whitney.
See you next week on Not Cinco de
Adriana,
Mayo.
Gen C. All right.